And joining us on the guest line now is the driver of the number 9 Liberty University Tundra. He wins the Camping World Truck Series race at Kansas Speedway. William, congratulations, man. It looked like you had that thing well in hand, and then, here comes the caution. What were you thinking then?
Oh, yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. It was a crazy race. The last restart, I was definitely not looking forward to having a caution there at the end. We had, I think, a 5-second lead, and just were cruising to the white flag, but unfortunately that's what happens, and we were able to rebound and really earn it with that last restart, and be in the right place at the right time, and sometimes that's what it takes.
You know, one of the unique things that NASCAR has done in 2016 is they allowed us to show up a day with a lot of practice to prevent us from having to do tests earlier in the season for these racetracks. What issues did you have? And it doesn't appear like any, but what issues did you guys actually work on in those 3 different practice segments?
Yeah, I mean, we unloaded, and I think judging from the notes last year, we all expected to be wide open and with the trucks, and that definitely wasn't the case. So we had to work on our truck and get it to where we could run at least close to wide open during the daytime, and get it to handle well around other trucks. So that was the biggest thing, and also picking up on the racetrack a little bit the first couple runs. So it definitely helps having the added practice. It helps having a chance to have time to get around other trucks and figure out what you need for the race.
Okay, here's one of the things that I think is really cool. You know, now we were joking before the show that so many drivers these days start so young, but you didn't even get your first Legends car until 2012, right? And then you won the K&N Pro Series East Championship last year. You've had a rapid rise, right?
It's been kind of crazy how it's all happened. I started racing when I was almost 15 years old. I was 14. I raced one race when I was 14, and then moved up Legend cars when I was 15, and it's really happened so fast. But I've always wanted to be a race car driver, and I didn't grow up in a racing family, so I was able to start in Legend cars. U.S. Legend Cars has a great program at Charlotte Motor Speedway that trains young kids, and I was able to race there in the summer shootout and move up into late models and then the K&N series.
Yeah, so one of the things that you're having to do is adapt. We're 5 races in total of your Truck Series career coming off the K&N Championship. What's been the biggest transition between the K&N cars and the trucks?
The biggest thing is definitely the aerodynamics of the trucks, also the tire. Being on a radial tire, I've been on a bias ply tire or a short track tire that's you can slide around on, and with this it's definitely a different experience, but I have got a lot of great coaches around me with Kyle and my team, with my crew chief Rudy Fugel. So they kind of keep me in line and kind of give me a preview of what I should maybe feel or think about. So I really lean on those guys.
Speaking of Rudy, let's go back a little bit now. You and several other guys were in the situation of trying to save gas to make it to the end of that race at Kansas, and then you build the big lead, and you were even down on the apron at some point trying to save gas along the way. Then we come back after the caution, and you got this big restart coming up, and a couple of guys get out in front of you. What was the communication like then between you and your crew chief, and what kinds of things were you thinking of, how do I get this back?
Yeah, I mean, really it was just my spotter and my spotter Tony Hirschman up on the roof, and then myself just in the seat, just not giving up on the situation. I think Tony was telling me, make sure you time your run to get back to him, and I really didn't expect having a chance to get back to even third, because everything I've grown up in racing, if you see cars driving by you on the bottom, 5 or 6 of them, then there's no way you're going to get those back. But with the trucks, thankfully, there's side draft and there's all these things that you can get runs on guys, and I just use that stuff to my advantage to get back to have a position. And then on the last lap, it was really just about timing my run to maybe put them 3 wide and get the win that way. But thankfully, they got into each other and kind of made it even easier on us.
You're chatting with seasoned veteran, 5 races in, race winner, William Byron. Still can't buy beer. You probably had homework from high school. Good night, son. Very, very young age, which is awesome because you have a bright, bright future. Dale Jr. mentioned driving the late model series over there for those guys. But besides you and your crew chief, you also have some teammates outside of the KBM Motorsports. Do you guys lean on each other as youngsters, or do you compete against? So we have young drivers on the show once in a while, and they're best friends, Ryan Blaney and Bubba Wallace, to name a few. Are you guys competing at that level, or are you still pretty good friends?
Yeah, I mean that's the big thing is staying close to your teammates and helping them when they need help. I mean our team's really open here at KBM, and Christopher Bell. We had Cody Coughlin in the 51 this weekend, and sometimes Daniel Suarez too. The key is just helping them. If you can't win the race, then being in position to help them win the race, and then if it's between the two of you guys, then so be it. You battle it out. But that's the big thing. And Christopher and I have a pretty open notebook with each other, and that just helps the progression of the two teams.
Joey mentioned your team owner, Kyle Busch, earlier, and I don't know if you got a chance to hear this. We wanted to play a little clip for you, get you to hear what your team owner had to say, and then get your reaction to it. So check this out.
That was pretty interesting and pretty entertaining, I'm sure, for all the fans here, and of course those listening on the radio and many watching on TV. But just proud of William Byron, proud of Kyle Busch Motorsports, all these guys, everybody that does such a great job. We pour a lot of effort into all this stuff and what we do, and it's cool to see the fastest truck win the race. There he had a bad restart, wasn't the greatest, and being able to get up through the gears and having the guy behind him push him, which they're all racing for the win. That's what you expect. But, certainly got a little bit lucky there with the crash that happened in front of us and was able to miss the crash and then to go to victory lane. So that's pretty cool.
How cool is it, William, to have a Sprint Cup champion as your team owner like Google? You can go to him and ask him anything.
Yeah, it's neat. I mean, he's on the radio with us during the races sometimes, and he just helps with advice. And he's just a great asset to this program. He's always pushing us to be better, and even in a win like that, he's up there, asking, hey, what do you think you could do better next time? And that's just how you get better. So the important thing is that we just stay focused and keep getting advice from him, and kind of not turning away just because you think you have it figured out, because there's always something to learn no matter what. So that's the important thing.
Yeah, William, every track we go to now, essentially for the rest of this year, because your career lasts for 5 races, we keep bringing that up. It's amazing the young talent going up. How do you prepare for a racetrack you've never seen or been to?
Honestly, videos and going on YouTube and watching, whether it be the Cup guys, watching their onboard cameras, or watching just the race broadcasts. I just try and visualize what it's going to be like, or what things work, and kind of check off what things don't work or maybe haven't worked for guys in the past. So I think that's the biggest thing, and also relying on my teammates and guys that have been there before.
Okay, now here's what I got to ask you about the relationship with Liberty University, because my understanding is, are you skipping school right now or skipping class? Because Joey can write you a note if you need to. Is that what we got to do?
Yeah, I'm still in high school, so I'm skipping. I've skipped a few classes today for some things, but it's all fine, and I'll go back to class today. But next year I'll be in college at Liberty up in Lynchburg, Virginia.
But you're already taking some classes, right?
I am. Yeah, I've taken 6 so far, so I take those in addition, kind of after school, and that's basically what I do.
Wow, I mean, I guess that's the way the world is right now. Is that you can get so much preparation early before you ever get to college and feel like you can hit the ground running, right?
Right. Yeah, for sure. It's a great program. Liberty University has over 100,000 online students, and it's really neat to have that support and get a further my education.
That's fantastic, man. We want to congratulate you on your first win in the Camping World Truck Series. We know it'll be the first of many, and looking forward to Dover this weekend and seeing you perform again up there. Congratulations on a strong start to the season and your first win.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Good job, William.
And we'll send the note from Joey to get you back in class.
Awesome.
Cool.
Thank you, Joey.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Appreciate that.
Thanks. Appreciate it. That's William Byron, first-time winner in the Camping World Truck Series. How cool is that?